It was good, man. First day, things were not too fast, but I was just feeling my way around.
How much do they throw at you the first day to try to digest?
Yeah, they threw a little bit at me. I was playing like a little bit of every position, but football is football. So I was out there just playing fast, competing and stuff.
How'd you end up getting the number 3? Obviously, that number has some history here in Seattle.
Yeah, man. It was Russell Wilson wore it last, so I kind of was looking for single digits. 7 wasn't available, so I was looking at the next, number that could mean something to me. But Russell Wilson's one of my favorite quarterbacks. Growing up with that Legion of Boom defense. You got an offense too, so respect to Russell. He did a lot for this organization. Did everything he could. So I'm doing what I can in this number. I make it special on defense in my own way. So.
Nick, what was that moment when you stepped on the field? Was it more like I made it, or like okay, it's game time? What was that moment when you stepped in the practice field?
Oh yeah, all that I made it stuff kind of ended like the day after I got drafted. Maybe 2 days after that. Right now, before I even got up here, I was already it's go time. I'm ready. So ready to lock in, ready to get going.
How have these first couple of days in the NFL compared to, say, when you first went to South Carolina? What's it been like in terms of everything the team's asking you to do, and then the speed of the practices and things like that?
Just like how it was when I transitioned from high school to college, from college to NFL, things are a little bit more detailed, a little bit more fast-paced, but they're taking things slow. Rookie minicamp, trying to take things one step at a time. So.
Nick, I saw Mike McDonald talking to you a little bit about alignment and stuff. What were you guys going over in practice today?
Just making sure I was in the right alignment. First day of practice, you can watch all the film you want, or get every note. You can take down every note you want, see it on the big board or whatever. But once you get out there in the field, it's a little bit different. So just make sure I was in the right spot, the right alignment, and reading my keys. So he's been making sure I make sure I'm just reading my keys, going through my progressions, and looking at making it look good out there. So.
And then that you actually telling some of your other teammates, how much is that part of who you are, bringing the back end together?
Say it again?
I saw that after Mike McDonald talked to you, you also telling your teammates, kind of helping them where to line up.
Yeah.
Can you just talk about your leadership and already what you're doing?
Oh yeah, for sure. Coming in, just want to be a better leader. At South Carolina, especially my last year, had a great defense. So I want to bring that feeling back. Bring it up to Seattle. Even though I'm a rookie, I can make an impact as a rookie. Even when the vets come back. So just trying to get used to that leadership, talking to guys, letting guys know what we're doing, camaraderie. So we only got here for a couple of days, so why not make friends and get a bond with people. So.
You guys played Alabama this year, and Jalen. You and Jalen talked about that game yet?
Nah, we ain't talk about that game yet, man. I don't want them bad memories, man. So, but Zai Alexander, cornerback from LSU, we had talked about the LSU game, man. So I try to stay away from all that stuff, moving on forward. So.
Sorry, I got to ask one more. You did track Jalen down at one point in that game, right?
Oh yeah, I did. That's funny. You asked Coach Mike on my 30th visit here. He was like, you're the only dude that tracked Jalen Milroe down, right? I was like, yeah. He was like, you think he knows that? I was like, he should. He was like, yeah, he knows. You're the only dude. So it's funny you asked that, but yeah.
How much nickel, if at all, did you play in college?
My sophomore year, I started nickel like 3 to 4 games, and in practice I used to rotate that nickel all the time, so I'm comfortable playing at it.
Did you do much blitzing off the edge?
Not as much. It was more coverage in college, but I did get a couple blitzes to my name, maybe like 15-20%. Majority was coverage.
Is that something you'd like to do more at the NFL level? And Coach McDonald has a little reputation of setting his defensive backs.
Oh yeah, for sure. In the NFL, things are a little bit more cleaner and cut. You can rely on dudes a little bit more to do their job. So, it just gives you the opportunity to make more plays and eat. You can trust a dude that's gonna, if you're blitzing, he's gonna come take your spot. Or if I'm not blitzing, he's gonna be in the post. So, it's a lot more vets, a lot more older dudes. You can rely on each other. So I'm excited to blitz, make some more plays in the backfield.
What did it mean to you the way Seattle kind of moved up to get you on draft night?
It meant a lot, man. It just showed how much they wanted me, honestly. So after that first round had ended, I was kind of confused about like where I was gonna land, because sometimes you got an idea, but I was kind of like, I wasn't sure where I was gonna be at. So I was looking at the teams. I think it was like Cleveland, Tennessee. A lot of teams were lined up, but I knew Seattle was like pick 18, so I was like, Seattle's out the picture maybe. And then so when I got the phone call, I was kind of confused on like who was really calling, because I was seeing a different team on the clock. And then when they called, I was kind of like trying to put 2 and 2 together. But until he told me like on the phone, like we're trading up to get you, and I was like, okay, it makes sense. So I was pretty excited, super stoked out. I know the whole staff were super excited to come get me, really pumped up, so it just meant a lot.
What was the wave of emotions like, where you go from, like you said, confusion, probably wanting to be a day one pick, and then all of a sudden being off the board? Just what's the roller coaster like on a day like that?
Honestly, man, you know, the draft, you never really know what it feels like until you go through it. So, like, even like when the first pick starts in the first round, it's like you still kind of getting nervous, you know, even though you're not really projected to go there. So it's like the clock is ticking and everyone's getting their call. You just keep looking at your phone, like, wondering if you're gonna get that call, wondering if you're gonna get that call. And then when it gets close, like the crunch time, you know, last 5 picks in the first round, it's starting to really settle in. Like, you know, you're waiting for that call, but, you know, the call ain't end up coming. So my mind was just kind of all over the place. But I realized, you know, I was gonna go early in day 2. So, you know, I just took it as, you know, I'm gonna show the rest of the teams that passed on me. I can't wait to show them what type of player I am and just make them regret it. You know, every year in the NFL draft, looking forward or looking back in hindsight, it's always that one player like, oh, how did he fall in this round, or what happened, you know, so just, you know, ready to show my mark in the NFL.
What is your impression of Seattle, your first practice here?
Beautiful. Honestly, I never really seen like a practice environment. Like, you know, got the what is that, the lake? Yeah, got the lake view right on the side, you know. Weather ain't too crazy. I ain't seen none of the crazy weather. They say it rains out here or something, so the weather been good. It's beautiful out here, so.
You talked to Cam after you get drafted?
I did. Cam Chancellor, actually, before I even got drafted that first night, he had texted me, he had sent me a message, like, out the blue. It was like, hey, man, you know, wherever you end up, we'll go ground hard, just a little heartfelt message. And that was one of my, you know, favorite safeties, again, growing up. So I was showing my brothers, and like, oh, Cam Chancellor just woo-woo. So when I got drafted by Seattle, I thought him texting me was like, maybe he had the inside, like, okay, I'm going to Seattle. But after I got drafted, he told me, he was like, look at God, man, what a coincidence. So just Cam Chancellor, he a great dude, man. I'm going to be reaching out to him for advice and how he made his way through here, try to make my own way.
When you get people talking about Derwin James, Cam Chancellor, Kyle Hamilton, do you like those expectations? Or you kind of want to make your own way?
Honestly, man, I love those expectations, but of course I'm gonna make my own imprint on the league. I think I bring a different skill set than every one of those guys, but I mean, those are great people to be compared to, especially Derwin James, Kyle Hamilton. Those dudes I watch the most as far as like film, and both of those dudes are kind of like, I reach out to those dudes, try to get some information from them. So just excited to make my mark in the NFL.
All right, thanks, Nick.
Yeah, appreciate you guys, man.
With the team.
Man, it was a blessing, you know, to get here and work with these guys. Great coaching staff here, and I'm super blessed. It was one of the best weekends of my life for me. So.
Do you have family here?
I do, yes, ma'am, I do. I have brought out my mother, father, and my 2 sisters, and my girlfriend.
They probably don't typically get a chance to watch you practice.
They do not. They were super happy about it. You know, this is Seattle, great city, and I'm thankful that they're here also.
Why was it one of your best weekends of your life?
Just being in the NFL, you know, club, getting to practice in a facility like this, it's a blessing, really. Being out there competing, you know, learning new plays, meeting new guys. Yeah, it's a great feeling.
Was there a big difference from yesterday to today, as a day 1 and day 2, in terms of how you practiced or anything like that, the speed?
I would definitely say now it was really, you know, just going out practicing, executing the things that I was being taught.
What was this? All the block punts you had in college. What was kind of the key to that? What was your?
Really, so I had my special teams coordinator was James Shebis, great special teams coordinator. Gave me so much knowledge about punt blocking and just being a great special teams player. Really, I learned so much technique and details from him. That comes with like chasing the hip of the in-man line of scrimmage defender, and that really just that get off.
Did opponents like pay more attention to you? Is that kind of what? Yeah,
for sure.
So like we get doing against them.
For sure.
Any of the guys that you got to know a little bit in the last couple of days?
You talking about on the team already? Not really. Most of the guys in the rookie class, for sure. E-Man. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I got to meet everybody in my class, but Horton, of course, Toy Horton. We all just, you know, came together as a good rookie class. Yeah.
I feel catching passes from Jalen Milroe this last couple of days.
Yeah, it's good. He's a great quarterback. You know, we're in the same boat right now, learning the offense, getting our installs together. we're just trying to get that chemistry together, really.
When it comes to special teams in college, did they approach you first, or did you approach them and say, I want to be on teams?
No, I told my special teams coordinator that I need to be on the field at special teams. I feel like, when I was on the field, it gave my team an advantage to win. And I gave 100% on every special teams I was on.
How special is it to be out here with Jackson when the two of you guys were catalyst to getting UNLV to being a top 25 ranked team?
Man, it's really crazy how God works. He works in mysterious ways. I give him all the glory. Just being able to be here, with my former teammate. We feeding off each other's energy. Seeing him make plays today and yesterday was just, a great feeling.
Anything else? Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
How we doing?
How was first day for you?
It was great. Great day of competition. Just getting better overall, just learning the playbook. But yeah, there's a lot of work to be done.
First time that you've gotten to play with Jalen, how was it catching passes from him out there on the field today?
Man, it was great. I love Jalen. I love the way he plays, and I feel like, we're going to have a good connection moving forward.
At tight end, you get to be in the mix with the offensive line, the kind of the receiving group, the quarterbacks. What's your impression of this whole group you got coming in, rookies?
Man, we have a really good group. I feel like everybody's coming in here ready to work, ready to compete. The coach was out there. He had to tell us to slow down today. That's how fired up everybody was to be here.
What do you love about the way Jalen plays?
I can't really explain it. I'm not a quarterback, but, just the way he throws the ball, the way he moves, he has a chance to be, an elite quarterback at the highest level.
What did you think when they drafted Damian Martinez after you?
Hey, that's my guy right there. I'm so glad that they picked him. Just because, he's a great person, great teammate. He's somebody you want to have on your team overall.
So how'd you pick 18?
It was the closest to 8 that they had.
The knee troubles you had before the draft, that's behind you at this point?
Yes, sir. I feel good.
You made a catch to end practice that just looked easy to you, but maybe not easy to most people. Your catch radius, is that something that you take a lot of pride in?
Oh, yes, sir. I'm a big target. I'm a tight end, but, when it comes to the pass game, I like to count myself as a receiver.
Tight end, obviously, there's a physicality to it, but also the pass catching ability. Were you always a tight end, or what was kind of your football background like from a positional standpoint?
Pee Wee football growing up, I always played, running back. I always had the ball in my hands. Once I started getting older, like middle school, high school, I started playing receiver. By my junior year of high school, I was really just a big receiver. I was really good at perimeter blocking. So they told me I was going to play tight end, and, that's what I'm doing.
So the blocking aspect, wanting to have that as part of your game, was that natural to you when you started to pick that up, or what was that like to have that?
I wouldn't say it's natural, but really for blocking, you just got to want to do it. That's the biggest thing, and everything else will come with it.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Appreciate y'all.
How's it feel to partake in running back drills? Is that something that you ever did at Alabama?
No, it is a different world out there, but shout out to Coach Palomalu getting me right. He's a fantastic coach. Love working with him.
What are you trying to soak in these couple of days that you get on the field?
Honestly, just not taking the moment for granted. It really didn't hit me when I got the phone call on draft day, but going out on that field yesterday, it finally sunk in. So just taking it all in and just giving it everything I got, and just trying to go 1-0 every rep.
What are you learning about playing fullback?
There's a lot, coming from the tight end position, it's a lot of different leverage. So really changing my footwork up, kind of changing my attack angle on defenders, and learning to make decisions on the go instead of letting the defender come to me. So there's a lot there.
For your early impressions of the offense, does it feel like the fullbacks kind of used a lot in the passing game?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if it's just the offense or Milrow feeding me. But, yeah, I got a lot of looks there early on, so I just got to make the most of my opportunities.
How much do you see your tight end background helping from that perspective of being a pass catcher? I know you had 2 touchdown receptions last year. I know you said that's not as important as blocking to you, but
yeah,
how does that tight end background help?
It definitely helps. Just being more of a natural at tracking the ball, turning, getting upfield, lowering my shoulder. because that can be a foreign to a lot of fullbacks. But yeah, it kind of runs into receiving.
What's your impression of the other guys you got to meet this last couple days?
I love everybody here. It feels like home. Got a great group of guys in the running back room with Damian and all the rest of the boys. And it just kind of motivates you every day to come in and work for those guys.
I heard you might be making a cross-country road trip on your way back here. Is that the plan?
Yeah, we'll have to figure that situation out later, but great to be here.
Hey, Robbie, I know when we covered Mike Robb way back in the old days, he talked about needing to read the play like a running back and having to see that from the fullback spot. What is it going to be like for you trying to learn what those sight lines look like and what the guy behind you is going to see?
Yeah, so yeah, it's definitely a different world than what I'm used to from college. But like I said earlier, Coach Polamalu has been very fundamental in helping me kind of look at the play in a different perspective. So really just seeing what the running back is seeing and learning that he's going to trust me, and it's up to me to give him a little window of opening.
Any difference in terms of what they're giving you any instructions in terms of your body? They want you to train any differently than you've been trained up until now?
Not in particular. They just want me to be strong and explosive at the same time. So definitely could work on my conditioning a little bit. Weight might drop 5-10 pounds, but just as long as I feel good, that's the most important thing.
How many years did you do competitive swimming?
Maybe 8 or 10.
Do you still swim at all, ever? Or?
Every now and then, just for cardio. Yes, sir.
Anything else? Thank you.
Okay, thank y'all.
What's going on?
How are you doing? How was it out there today?
Doing good. It was fun. It was, first day on the job. It was cool.
What's your first impressions of Seattle, on the field at least?
Yeah, on the field, it reminds me of a lot of what we did in college. Like my college coach, similar drills, so it was nice having that familiarity. And it's been nice because Coach Hines has kind of been showing me the ropes and showing what they do. So it was great to observe. And I was itching to get back out there.
Talk about how AD and Justin Hines really enjoyed the 30 visit with you. What did you guys cover in there? How'd you impress them in that visit?
Yeah, I just tried to be myself. It was good. I just kind of went in there, and Coach Hines brought me through some of the defense. So it was cool. He had me pull out the chairs and just walk through some of the calls with him. And that was the first time I did anything kind of really football related since my injury. So I was like kind of getting hyped up in there. So everyone kind of liked that. And then talking to AD, Coach AD, it was just great hearing his vision for me and his plan. I felt like we were on the same page in terms of my versatility and the things I can bring. So I walked away being like, this is where I want to be, and I felt like I'm super happy I'm here.
Because of that similarity between what you did in Notre Dame and here, is it that much easier to kind of see how they want to fit you in and what that's going to look like when you are able to get out there? Do you think that puts you a little bit ahead of the curve on that front?
Yeah, I think I was lucky enough. Coach Golden ran an NFL style defense, so for me, a lot of the terms, a lot of things they're doing here is stuff that I was able just to kind of translate over. So that's really helped me because here it's it's coming really quick, and there's a lot of different calls and things that can happen. So having that experience in college and be able to carry it over has been really helpful.
Is there sort of a basic plan for when you will get on the field? Kind of the steps you'll have to take to get to playing and everything.
Yeah. So we got a plan in place. I was actually going over today, so I feel really confident. In the team and the plan that's in place, and I feel like the staff here has been really great with helping me feel clear on what I got to do.
What did you like about your game and the way you were playing before the injury?
Yeah, I think for me, I was just maximizing my potential, and I went out there, and my strengths are my toughness and how I'm going to take on blocks and getting the quarterback. So I felt like honestly at that Indiana game, that was probably my best work to date, and I felt like everything was coming together the way I wanted it to. And it's a bummer that it happened, but God has a plan, and I'm going to follow it, and I'm excited to get to work.
Riley, I know you just got here, but have you had an opportunity yet to talk to any of the veteran defensive linemen like Leonard Williams or any of those players at this point? And how excited are you to get to pick their brains right now when you've got to really focus on the mental part of your game?
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to talk to them yet, just because I know there's rules with like rookie minicamp and stuff. I know Byron reached out to me, and I'm just super excited to see those guys, and they've done it at a high level. Obviously, Leonard Williams has done it for 10 plus years. So just being able to pick their brain, and even with Coach Hines, just watching his film and seeing what Leonard does, it's awesome. So I'm really looking forward to it.
You said in the post-draft conference call, Zach Allen's the guy you watch a little bit. Is he like a good comp for what you'd hope to be, or is there another player that's kind of a good example of the skills you want to showcase?
Yeah, I think just the things I take from Zach's game is that he's able to get off his power really quick, but he's also still strong. So I just feel like we have a lot of similarities, and I think he plays it at a high level. So that's something I was trying to emulate and something I was trying to work on. But obviously, like, Leonard Williams, the way he plays the run and, the way he gets out there and is versatile and can play the 3, the 5, and all over the line. So, yeah, those are kind of things I'm working into my game, and I'm excited to keep working on.
Riley, you talked about toughness and physicality. Just how important is energy and just that motor that won't quit as part of your game?
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to play in the NFL if you don't have effort and if you don't give, your best every day. And that's something the coaching staff from, I was in, college, and then even here it's translated. It's like you got to be out there giving 100% effort. So, that's my brand of football, and that's how I want to play. I want to run the ball, and, I'm just excited. I was itching today just to get out there and seeing everybody go. I just want to be as great of a teammate as I can be, but I'm really excited to get, back to putting in the work.
This draft class has talent, but also personality. Have you noticed some of the personalities starting to come out in this group?
Yeah, a little bit. I know Zabel, big Bush guy. So yeah, I think everyone's got their own little quirks. I think everyone's still meeting each other, but it's been cool just getting to meet this class and a lot of really good guys.
On that note, did you drive the RV out here, or did you just fly?
Yeah, I'm flying from now on. I think the RV's retired for right now.
Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you.
How you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Saw John Denton, the offensive line coach, spend a lot of time with you early on. What were you guys talking about?
Like before practice?
Yeah. During the position drills.
Yeah, we were just talking about how to work a triple with the tight ends, just working on that. Just wide zone game is going to be something they want to emphasize here. So coach is just getting us right about that, and our footwork is the most important thing, and our mental, going into the play and working with the guy next to you and over-communicating. That's what Coach McDonald's been preaching. So.
Between having 3 guys on the offensive line and a tight end a part of this group, what's it like to have a collection of rookies from the draft class kind of going in all up front, being a part of this together?
Yeah, it's heavy, that's for sure. So, we're going to be moving people around, I know, and then, in the pass game, just got to stay in front of the guy, and, at tight end, they just got to do their job too. So, offensive line-wise, it's nice. We're all 3 of our lockers are next to each other, just getting to know each other. It's day one, I'm just met guys' parents and stuff like that. So, been really cool, really fun. Good class to be a part of. A lot of offensive guys, so really excited to be a part of this group.
All three of the linemen that were drafted in this class, including you, all have tackle backgrounds. So what kind of dynamic already may you be sensing there working next to Bryce? Like, hey, he understands what I'm doing in this position. He's played guard. You might get some experience there. How does that ease this transition coming to pros when you've got 3 guys that have multiple position experience like that?
Yeah, it's a good question. With us, all 3 of us, I think we're all kind of Swiss Army knives. What I keep hearing is just, being able to play multiple positions. And with all of us, I think playing left tackle, especially like Bryce today, I remember there's a play, and I think he's trying to help me as much as he can, because at tackle you're just trying to take advantage you can, just work with the guards and stuff like that. But maybe in his mind he was just like thinking tackle still. But we all got to get used to whatever. So I was playing low tackle, and I know Gray was getting in some inside work and stuff. But being a left tackle is important to a college team and very important to the pro team, obviously, and just maybe the most important O-lineman. You may not touch the ball every play, but you got to protect quarterback's blind side. So I think we all take pride in protecting it, and then also being a leader on our line. So should be fun being with those 2.
When we talked to you right after the draft, it sounded like maybe they were going to play you guard, but now it looks like you're back at tackle. Is that kind of the plan, or?
I'm just going with it every day, honestly. But whenever they want me to play, I told them, you want to put me at tight end, kicker, whatever. I'll do my best and try my best. That's all I can say.
Offensive line rooms are kind of their own unique thing. What's this room starting to feel like? At least the group that you got out there now with the rookies, and what do you look at that you respect in offensive linemen?
Yeah, I think we're starting to get to know each other. Guys that come from all over the place, and that's just what a line room is, just kind of a melting pot of people and personalities. And a lot of us have similar hobbies and stuff like that, but I think we're all the same people. We're all going to go eat a bunch of food, right after this. So, just going to be gaining weight, I guess, and pushing people around. It should be pretty fun.
What's the first impression of Coach Ben?
Oh, he's great. He knows what he wants out of guys, and he's very high demanding, and that's what I like to appreciate in a coach. And expects a lot out of us, and high expectations like that, usually lead to good results. So, really excited to work with him and Coach Houghton and Coach Q and everybody.
Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Seattle's 2025 rookie class was definitely more than walkthroughs and warm-ups. It gave real looks at what these young names might offer in live reps. There was no stage fright or learning curve excuses. From the first horn, These rookies lined up like they belonged. They were fluently communicating coverages, locking into routes, and pushing the pace. Nick Emenwari literally defines what football IQ looks like. The South Carolina safety spoke like someone already locked into the defensive install. Wearing number 3, he acknowledged the pressure that comes with that jersey and leaned into it. He made himself pretty clear. Special teams won't be his ceiling. Coaches are testing his versatility at safety and nickel, and so far the reads and reactions look NFL ready. Next is Ricky White III. He didn't come from a Power 5 school, nor does he carry day one expectations. But the moment Ricky White III sat down at the mic, it was obvious he understood what this camp meant. His roots in day one drills were sharp, and day 2 was even cleaner. The player described the weekend as one of the best of his life, and the way he's been catching everything thrown near him, a preseason roster spot doesn't feel far-fetched. Now talking about tight end Elijah Arroyo, he genuinely brings a calm presence until the ball snapped. During the media, he chose to be selective with his answers. However, his play did all the talking. Used across different formations, Arroyo lined up in line, flexed out, and in motion. The staff is clearly exploring matchup angles. He's coming off injury, but didn't look limited. What stood out was his blocking leverage. Most rookies fake it, but Arroyo doesn't. Next, fullback tight end hybrid Robbie Oosts looked and sounded like an old-timer. He called Seattle a place that already feels like home, and his on-field comfort backs that up. Quick contact balance and a low pad level made him effective in team drills. It's early, but his fit in 2-back sets could give Seattle a new short yardage identity. He blocks like a lineman and moves like a tight end. Riley Mills didn't waste time catching eyes. At 6 feet 5 inches, 296 pounds, he's one of the most physically developed rookies in the group. What's more interesting, he's already adjusting to Seattle's multi-front approach. Asked about that, he mentioned how excited he was to be back out there and learning a pro system. The edge/3-tech flexibility he showed at Notre Dame showed up again this week. If he can anchor better in the run game, he'll seemingly be hard to cut. Iowa linemen usually come in polished, and Mason Richman is no exception. He called the rookie group tight-knit and said the focus was all business. In drills, his base looked strong, and there were glances of his college footwork during sets. Seattle's depth chart isn't desperate on the line, but Richmond's mechanics make him a project worth watching. Overall, this wasn't a rookie class filled with big media names, but that didn't matter in camp. Clean routes, smart technique, and competitive reps took the lead here. From Emenwari's leadership to White's hunger and Arroyo's all-around game, this group has pieces. They've already made the coaches rethink a few things now. Will they make the 53? Stick around and subscribe. The answer will come soon.